right. Hey, Jess, are we ready?
We are ready.
Oh, man, I'm just trying to get the best one
That's
possible.
a good one.
That was not bad. Welcome.
Welcome.
Welcome
Welcome.
to the Unhinged BookCast, a podcast hosted by Jess and LJ who love all things fantasy books. I'm LJ.
And I'm Jess, and we're happy to have you back again.
Whether we're deep diving into thoughts and theories or just riding the vibes, we love discussing our current reads with each other and now with all of you.
So tonight we have started book 3 in the Blood and Ash series by Jennifer Armentrout, chapters 1 through 16 of A Crown of Gilded Bones. This will be another spoiler-free series as long as you've read through our current reading section.
Speaking of which, you can now discuss with us spoiler-free, chapter by chapter in our club on the Fable app.
Also, please do all the things, liking, following, and subscribing on all of our platforms.
These are some romantic fantasy books that are intended for adults. We will be talking about war, gore, and no pants dances.
So this is your content warning. Our discussions are not suitable for little listening ears. We hope that you are all reading along with us, and we can't wait to hear your thoughts and theories as well.
Grab a seat and a drink, maybe even some snackies, and let's get into it.
Let's get into it.
All right, let's start off with chapter 1. Quick recap. We are in the temple, and she's just knocked some people off the earth, let's say. There's a lot going on, and Queen Alonia has just set down her crown, right? And it turns to fire or whatever, and all of a sudden it's like this gold antlered crown now, right? Lower your swords and bow before the ... before the last descendant of the most ancient ones, she who carries the blood of the King of gods within her. Bow before your new queen. I don't know. What do you think? I was like freaking out. I was like, sweet. Like, this isn't like some other books where you're just like, and then I woke up because I'd gotten knocked out. Like, this was
You mean like our last series?
Yes. Knocked right back into the freaking action. And I was so excited.
I do appreciate that. It almost feels like the author just broke it up so that it wasn't like one giant 5,000 page book, but it just rolls right into the next part of the story.
Yes.
And I
like
do
so
like
much
that.
action just in the first couple of chapters. I loved it.
Yes. Yes.
Yeah. So we find out that all the bonds have been broken. Whatever she did, she broke all the bonds to all the Wolven, right?
Yep.
And they're all coming to protect her because she has called them. I would like to point out that Alistair did not shift. So this is like just chapter 1. These are notes that I'm writing down like as I go. And then so like this kind of like got me interested. And then I was like, also Alonia, I don't know.
I think Alona is right.
Alona,
That sounds right. Yeah.
Like she's the only one that seems like to know what the hell's going on, right?
Yeah.
Which is concerning. And so basically she's I don't know. Like I don't think this is
There's
where
something
I thought
a little
but
sus about her.
She's
for sure.
so sus, it's not even funny. And so this was when like I think it was the end of this chapter. Like they're holding Alistair, or they're gonna get Alistair, like hold him hostage or whatever. And Alona's like bowing and everything like that. And they're like, we need to find Beckett since he's the one who led you here or whatever. And this is where I was like, oh my God, Jess is right. Alistair's bad. Like he's bad. But then all I could think about was like, okay, who did he run to when he broke his bond with Malik? Yeah. He ran into Alonia, and so I'm like, she's got to be bad. She's in on something, I think, and which that sucks for Castile. But and then I was like, are they having an affair, or like did they have an affair on the side and just they were the ones that didn't get caught? Like
I don't know. I do have to say though, I was fucking right. I was right.
You were.
I was right. I had a bad feeling about him.
I was like, no, I think he's good. Like he makes me think a little less like Jordan. And
I had a
Oh,
bad feeling about him from pretty much the first time we met him. When we very first met him, I was like, okay, this guy's cool. But it took me like maybe two chapters to be like, no, I don't feel so good about this guy. He's too
yeah.
nice. He's
Yeah.
got a secret agenda, and he did, and I was right.
And I didn't even see it coming, but it's like I had that, because I jumped into reading this one like as soon as we finished recording the last one.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, maybe she's right. Maybe she's right. And then like I think it was just like after that, I was just picking at him, probably for like he could have just like sneezed and I would have been like, he's evil. But like all of a sudden it was in my head and I couldn't get it out. Maybe that's why I think Alonia's bad or whatever, but I don't know. Something's off about her.
Something is definitely off about her.
The radar's going off, man.
Yep.
But
But that's how chapter one ends, is basically like Cass points at Alistair, the only woman who didn't turn and respond to the call of Poppy.
mhm.
And he points to him and he goes, "You." End of chapter. Moving on to chapter two.
Um, so basically we're gonna go lock up Alistair, but he has
Mhm.
other plans. And
Mhm.
so the Wolven and Castile are hit by all these arrows, I guess, that have they're leaking silver. That's all she knows now. But later, I think they what did they say? It's something shade, shadow,
Shadow,
shadow something,
shadow flower, shadow root, shadow something.
something. Yeah,
Didn't write it down,
and
but
yeah, and it makes them basically like turn to stone. Like they're still
yeah,
alive, but like turn to stone, which is like weird.
yeah.
And then
Reminded me of like the Narnia, when
yeah,
the
kind
the
of,
queen
yeah.
turns people to
Yeah.
ice or whatever, or stone. No, she turns them to stone. Anyways.
No, but yeah, that's yeah. I was like, what is going on here? And like she basically thinks they might be dead, and she's like freaking out.
Okay, it also irritated me at that point. I'm like, why didn't she look at her hand and go, okay, the marriage mark is still on my hand, so he's not dead.
Well, she says that later that she didn't think to do it.
Yes, I know.
Yeah.
I was very irritated with her not thinking in the first couple chapters, apparently.
Yeah, yep. And then I did put in like she I guess like sees this goddess and it speaks to her. I guess while all this is going on or something, or
Uh-huh.
I don't know.
That was a little confusing, but
But
yeah,
yeah,
something
it
like
says
that.
it wasn't supposed to be this way, and I am done with all of this.
Yeah,
And like that's kind of it. So I don't know. But I think we're supposed to be like, what the fuck was all of that?
I think so.
So, but I mean,
Yeah.
and then Alistair says she's a threat to Atlantia, and then she gets knocked out because that's how things happen. And it
Yeah.
bothers me, but I get it. Like it's kind of an easy, like a
Segue
switch
into the next
scene,
portion.
switch
Yep.
scene. But it would make sense, like how you would get somebody out and make them prisoner and stuff like that. So
Yeah. And the only note I had for this chapter was, I honestly don't even remember the context of when or where or who we learned this from, but King Malik, I think this was one of our questions in the last episode, was, is he
yeah,
dead? Like, where is King Malik? And they did say in this chapter that King Malik, the original, like the first king, is exiled and most likely dead. That's what we
most
know about
likely,
him,
supposedly.
which plays into a small theory I have later.
I can't wait to hear your theories because now I've got so many theories too. It's not even funny. And then yes, you called it that Alistair is
Yeah, I
it's
had to put it in there again. I'm sorry.
bad
I'm probably gonna
news.
say it
No,
about
you're good.
5 times this whole
I'm so
episode.
excited for you. And I was like, it was like how like and then it's like I started seeing all the things and like I started thinking back and then like she talks about like all the like as we go or whatever. She's like, and then this happened and I didn't see
Uh-huh.
it then. And I was like, me neither, girlfriend. Me neither. And then so yeah, so jumping into chapter 3, it
Okay,
starts
yeah.
with that creepy little nursery rhyme again.
Uh-huh.
What a pretty little flower, what a pretty poppy. Pick it and watch it bleed. Not so pretty any longer. And then like all I did was read that, right? That's
Mm-hmm.
all I read. And then I was like, it's fucking Alice.
Ooh, good call.
I was like, he went to go find her because he was out looking for Atlanteans, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, he
And
was like a contact to like help people get
uh-huh.
safe to
Yeah, and
Atlantia.
I was like,
Mm-hmm.
and then like all the things that we've talked about that you were saying last time about like why and how he's bad and all that stuff. And I was
Mm-hmm.
like, he killed her parents. he's the creepy guy and he was trying to kill her. Like, and like that's, and then I kind of wondered, I was like, is he not actually a Wolven because he didn't shift, but is he ascended? Was my thought. As I was like, I think he's bad and I think he's working for the ascended.
I
So
kind of
that's
thought
kind of
that maybe
like,
he may have been working for the Ascended, but we did find out that he is actually Wolven.
yeah, he is actually Wolven. Yeah. Um, and he was not technically ascended, he was working for the ascended. But that's when I like started
Yeah.
thinking that was
Okay.
all I was
Yeah.
saying. Is
Mm-hmm.
I was all
Okay.
like,
Gotcha.
but it was just like I read that and like everything fucking clicked. I was like, oh my God. I was like, I'm an
Yes.
idiot. How did this take me
No.
so long? Because like normally I'm the kind of person I see things coming 5 miles away, but for
Yeah,
whatever
you
reason,
do.
this time I'm just like, it's like the memes or whatever, the Facebook reels or whatever, and it's those dudes. I can't think. One's like Nicolas Cage and he's riding in a car and
Yes,
he
yes,
looks like
yes.
torn up, and then he
From
looks
whatever
over at the
movie
other
that
guy
is.
driving. Yeah, I can't think what his name is. And he's
Yeah.
just sitting there like happy as can be. That's been me the entire time. You're like sitting here, the one taking notes this time, and you're like deep diving and you're figuring all the things out. I'm just riding it, man. I'm just taking us on this journey. That's all I care about this time, apparently.
Oh
So
my gosh.
she wakes up in the crypt, right?
Mm-hmm. Yes.
And there are dead things around her, and
Yes,
it's
there are.
the deities of the gods.
Which are the children
Um,
of the gods.
yep.
Mm-hmm.
And then some dude comes in, right?
Yep.
Tell her that she can't get out. And the
That
others are still alive.
right.
And then we find out that it is Commander
I didn't
Jensen.
see that coming.
I didn't either.
That
I
one
at
snuck
first
up
was
on
like,
me.
who was he again? I'm not even gonna lie. Who
Oh,
was
you
he
are
again?
vibes reading this time, aren't you?
Yeah,
That's
yeah,
okay.
I was.
It's the best way to do it, I think.
And I was like, when was the last time we seen him? Like, I couldn't even remember when the last time we seen him was.
He supposedly is dead. And I don't honestly remember how he was supposed to have died, though. All right, so chapter 4. So we just said it, or Leslie just said it. But yeah, Commander Jansen is a changeling.
Uh-huh.
Um, he is one of the very few that can actually change into human forms, though, because Poppy is asking him about it, and he says that mostly they can just change into like animals and stuff, but
Mm-hmm.
very few could actually change into human forms.
Mm-hmm.
And he has to have something on him of like a possession of some sort, or like a lock of hair or something like that from the person that he's going to change into,
Yeah.
in order to change. So don't know if that's going to come into play later, but threw that in there. And then we also learned that he actually took out the real Beckett,
Yep.
unfortunately, back in Spessa's End. Um, so that was very sad. I
That
liked
was
Beckett. He seemed like
sad.
such a cute little puppy.
Just little puppies.
I know. Anyway, so then Jansen is talking to her about basically his motive. Why is he
Uh-huh.
capturing her? What is going on and all this stuff? And he tells her she's dangerous. And so she asks why. And so this is a quote from the book. She goes, "Why? Because I have a drop of God's blood in me?" And he says, "A drop?" Jansen laughed. "Girl, I know what you did in that temple. You need to give yourself more credit." My temper spiked, and I welcomed it, holding on to the rage. It was far better company than the welling grief. I haven't been a girl in years, so do not call me that. Call me one. My apologies, he bowed his head. I would be willing to bet you have far more than a drop. Your bloodline must have remained very clean for you to exhibit those kinds of godly abilities.
Mm-hmm.
So he believes that she's apparently has more than a drop of
Way
God's
more than a
blood.
drop. Yeah.
Okay, so talking about King Malik, he says, quote, "Not many people knew what Malik was capable of, what his godly powers were like. When he used them, he left very few witnesses behind. But I knew what he could do. Queen Alona knew. King Valen did." His cool blue eyes met mine. "His abilities were a lot like yours." I sucked in a short breath. "No." He could sense emotion like the empath bloodline. It was believed that their line could or branched off from the one that birthed Malik. having mingled with a changeling line. Some believe that was why the gods favored the empaths, that they had more ether in them than most. Malik could heal wounds with his touch, but rarely did it because he was not only descended from the god of life, he was also a descendant of the god of death, Nyktos. The king of gods is both. And Malik's abilities had a dark side. He could take emotion and turn it back on others, like the empaths, but he could do so much more. He could send his will into others, breaking and shattering their bodies without touch. He could become death.
Mm-hmm.
So, and then he tells her that she's descended from Malik because Malik is descended from Nyktos, apparently.
See, I thought Alistair was the one that was saying she was descended from
Oh yeah,
Malik.
you're right. It is Alistair saying
Oh,
all
okay.
of this, not Jansen.
Yeah, because
Sorry.
Jansen goes
Yes.
out.
Jansen
I think she
leaves.
sleeps for a little bit again, and then Alistair
Yes.
comes
And
in.
then Alistair comes in and he's the one who's giving her the
Dun,
history
dun,
lesson that she didn't want.
dun.
He's like, I'm going to tell you some history. And she's like, don't bother. And he's like, I'm going to tell you anyways.
I'm going to tell you anyway.
You're right. This is all
This is my
Alistair.
evil monologue.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
But yeah, he's the one that's basically like, you've got the blood of King Malik in you.
Yes. Yes.
Descended from Nyktos.
Nyktos.
That one's a hard one. I don't know why.
I have this one last quote from the book, because Alistair is then telling her that she's bad. She's basically not going to be able to control herself. She's a monster. That's why they've captured her. That's why they're trying to take her out and all this stuff, because they're trying to protect Atlantia.
Yeah.
And then he tells her this prophecy. So he says, this is the prophecy. It says, quote, with the last chosen blood spilt, the great conspirator birthed from the flesh and fire of the primals will awaken as the harbinger and the bringer of death and destruction to the lands gifted by the gods. Beware, for the end will come from the west to destroy the east and lay waste to all which lies between.
Yep.
So, and then he's like, that's specifically talking about you. You are the chosen, birthed of flesh and fire, come from the west, all this stuff. So
supposedly. Okay, before we jump into that really quick,
sure,
which I will, but I want to just put, like, when at some point when she's being held captive, all I could think about is, like, she was saying, like, to herself or something, like, Castile will find me. If I can't get out, I'll like Castile will find me.
Yeah.
And all I could think of is, like, are we gonna get a Where's My Wife?
I kept thinking that
I
too.
was like, please,
yes.
please. I want to see him, like, coming in and, like, a bloody as shit. And he's just like, where's my wife?
I was having major flashbacks.
I was too. And I was so, like, I was excited for this one, but I was excited for it. Okay, so back to Alistair telling him about it. So I was fairly positive that Alistair was saying that Malik was the dark one.
Okay.
And I know we just talked about this, but you would look back and it kind of, like, insinuated, like, dark this, the bringer of death, like, stuff like that. So I was like, okay, maybe this was just a thought.
He could become death. His abilities had a very dark side to them, stuff like that.
Yeah.
But it never truly says he was the dark one.
Yeah. So this is kind of, so then I was kind of like, maybe he is the dark one, obviously. And then, like, what if there really was a first maiden? Because remember, Castile was like, if there was a first maiden, I didn't know about her, like, I didn't kill her or whatever. Like, yeah, I'm considered the dark one or whatever because I do bad things, but I'm not the dark one or whatever. And so, okay, what if he really is the dark one and there really was a first maiden?
Wait, what Castile or Malik is really the dark one?
Malik is really the dark one.
Okay.
And there really was a first maiden and he did kill her, and the first maiden was this chosen and stuff, and all these, like, the ascended know everything. And so there really was a first maiden before her, hundreds of years ago or whatever, and Malik did kill her because she was trying to rise up against him. And I think that's, like, what's going to end up happening is she's trying to rise up against Malik, not necessarily Atlantia, but those are kind of my thoughts.
That is a good thought. That is for sure a good thought. Because I did not think about Malik being the original, like the actual Dark One. Because
Really?
later on, and I know we're gonna get to this a little bit later too, but she talks about how there is this other Dark One that's not Castile that gets mentioned a couple times later on in a few other chapters.
Mhm.
Um, but then now that you're saying this about Malik, because I hadn't thought about that, honestly, that he is slash was the Dark One. My thought was like, okay, so in chapter 2, we get this quick little tidbit that King Malik is exiled and most likely dead, is what they say.
Mhm.
So my thought is he's still alive.
Well,
He's out there
obviously.
somewhere,
Yeah.
obviously. Yeah. And I think you're right. I think he absolutely is this actual Dark One. So
So
then chapter
chapter
5.
5, we
Go
find
for it.
out where they are is the crypt of the Forgotten Ones. It's
Mhm.
somewhere deep within the Skotos Mountains. And then I gave it to you again. I said you are right, Jess. Alistair is a slimy, creepy, no good piece of shit. So,
Yeah, exactly. That's a
um,
really good way to put it.
yep. So during Alistair's evil monologue, he gives us his own thesis statement. Okay.
Mhm.
So even if you're successful, your plan will still fail. You think Castile won't know that you and every other so called protector handed me over to them, that the Wolven won't know. There is still a risk of an uprising, he admitted, but it is a small one. You see, we will lead them to believe that you escaped your captivity and fell into the Ascendant's hands. They will never know that we gave them, they will never know that we gave you to them. They will turn their anger on the Ascended, where it should have always been. Every Ascended will be killed, and any who support them will fall beside them. Atlantia will take back what belongs to us. We will become a great kingdom again.
Mhm. And then yeah, so I think it's after what you just read
Yep.
here that Poppy kind of puts it together that Alistair's basically working with the Ascended in a roundabout way.
Yep.
Like he
Yep.
thinks he's helping Atlantia, but he's working with the Ascended in order to supposedly save Atlantia. I don't know.
Yeah.
He's dumb.
So then at some point, somebody brings in some food for her, some food and water.
Hmm.
And she's like, I'm gonna try and escape, but I'm gonna need all my power or all my strength or whatever. So I guess I should eat.
Hmm.
And of course, it's drugged. And I'm just like, why are all the female main characters always get poisoned or drugged or whatever? And I'm just like, as soon as they
I
brought
don't
in the
know.
food, I was like, good
Here we
night.
go. Yeah, see you in the
I knew it
morning.
was coming.
Yep.
Like she's 100% gonna take that. And
Mm-hmm.
she did.
Mm-hmm.
And she recognizes it like as soon as it gets into her. She's like, oh, this is what the I can't
The
think of it, but
healers in
yeah,
the
the healers
palace or
and the
whatever, the
nursemaids,
sleeping drought.
whatever used to bring her. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So
Yep. And then, so chapter 6, she does pass out and falls asleep. Like, not pass out, but she falls asleep from the sleeping drought. She realizes right before she falls asleep in chapter 5, this is how he's going to move me. This is how he's going to
mhm,
get me out and get me to the Ascended. So she falls asleep. She wakes up bound flat on her back by those bones and roots, which we haven't actually talked about, but that's how she's being bound, is by these, like, the bones of the deities, I think it
mhm,
is what it is,
yeah,
and these magical roots. So anytime she moves, and they've got like spurs inside them, so anytime she moves, they tighten around her.
mhm,
Anyway, so she's flat on her back and she's bound from basically like under her chin to her knees. And they're
yeah,
traveling through the wastelands at this point.
mhm.
With
Well,
Jansen. Go ahead.
she wakes up and they're at the abandoned castle, and I didn't write it down what it is, but that's where she wakes
Yes.
up.
Yes. Yes, which is in
Yeah,
the wastelands. I don't remember what it was called either. Um,
somebody's castle.
Somebody's castle. Yep. And or temple. Something. It's something.
It was a castle.
Okay,
I'm
we'll
gonna
call it
say it was a
temple.
castle.
Sure. Anyways, this is where they're meeting the Ascended
Yep,
to trade her, basically give her over to the Ascended. Some
yep.
blonde-haired Ascended woman shows up. Um,
She's
Jansen's
creepy as shit
traveling.
too.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
So it's Jansen and then some other descenders / protectors, because they're like this brotherhood of protectors.
The
Oh
Brotherhood
goodness,
of
it's another
Protectors of
cult.
Atlantia or something like that.
Yes. And they're escorting her to the Ascended. They meet up with this blonde-haired Ascended woman. Um,
She kneels down to speak with her, right? And
yes, the Ascended woman kneels down to talk with
she's saying
Poppy.
about how we're gonna take you back or whatever. And then she gets shot in the chest with a bolt, and then she gets shot in the head with a bolt. And then I have, quote, suddenly something large and white leapt into my line of sight, taking down a masked man, Delano. And I was like, let's fucking go, man. And it reminds me of my favorite part in the Akatar series, like the entire Akatar series.
Uh-huh.
But it's spoiler alert, but it's when Cassian and Azrael like
Mm,
land on the ice
yep.
and they come to save Farah.
That is a
And
badass part.
that part makes me like I'm wound up right now. And like this was the exact same feeling. And it was like suddenly something large and white leapt into my line of sight. And I was like, they're here. Let's fucking go.
Yes.
So
Yes,
I
I
really didn't take much more notes after that.
okay. I do love how it seems like I don't like when the fantasy books are like conflict after conflict after conflict. It's fine as long as there's like a little hope mixed in with the conflict. That's just me.
Yes. I mean, yes.
And I appreciate that this book is like that. She gets captured, but she's only captured for like a week tops, and then she gets taken back. Like they
Yes.
come and save her.
Yes.
So far, anyway.
I think it was like 8 days and 4 hours or something like
It
that.
was 6 days and 8 hours.
6 days and 8 hours. Okay, I was close.
Yes. So, okay, so yes, Delano's there, Kieran's there, Castiel's there. Also, Castiel's dad, King Balin, is there, and
Mhm.
they're all fighting off these Ascended and their guards and whatever, to get her back. And so they free her. Kieran frees her. He's able to break through these roots and bones things that are holding her, and he goes to hand her like a sword or a weapon so she can fight. He goes, I know it'd be futile to ask you to sit out of this fight, right? And she goes, yeah, don't even try. And he's like, I figured as much. And then he goes to hand her a sword and she's like, no, I don't need that because she knows she can use her abilities
Well,
now.
no, you could tell at first she was like, yeah, maybe I will set this one out.
No, I think that was after. I think at
Oh,
first she was
really?
like, yeah, give me a sword, let me kill these guys.
Oh,
And
okay.
then she started feeling those abilities rise up inside of her. And then she was like, I
Oh, that's
can't.
right. She's like, maybe I am gonna be the monster or
Yeah,
whatever.
she didn't
Yeah.
want to turn into that monster that Alistair and Jansen said that she was going to be. So she did sit it out until Jansen was on his back. And I think it was maybe Kieran or Castiel that was about to kill
I
him.
think Castile comes over is like, this
Okay.
is your kill if you want it or something like that.
Yes, something like that. And she's like, I keep my promises because she had promised to kill him by her
Mhm.
hand. She starts taking the sword and plunging it through his chest. And then he goes, I keep mine too. And at that moment, crossbolt comes through her back into her front.
Mhm.
And I believe that's how it ends,
I think
right?
that's how it ends. Yeah.
Okay.
Um, so then chapter 7, there's like a lot, but not a lot going on here, right?
Yeah, a lot
So
of emotion, but not a lot of
yeah.
details. Hmm.
So I want to say it like so we have Castile, he's like roaring, right? And there's
Hmm.
lightning everywhere, which makes me think again about the god Theon. And I still have yet to go
Yes.
back and look at all the gods, and maybe that's something I can do this week. But I just want to figure out what all the gods were and what they were gods of, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah.
but then like that's when a blood tree starts growing
Yes.
very rapidly up out of the ground, and it's
Around
right over them.
her
And
and Castiel.
it's trying to grow around her, and Kieran's like pulling the roots off or whatever.
Hmm.
And then basically he's like, we're gonna do this. And then Kieran says something
Hmm.
like, well, fuck. Yeah. Okay, let's go. Like something
Yeah,
like that.
because like his dad is like, you cannot do
You
this.
can't
It's
do this or
forbidden. Don't
whatever.
repeat
Yeah. And then
history, all this
so
stuff. And Kieran's
yeah.
like, no one's gonna touch you. I got you.
So yeah, so all the Wolven are like basically surrounding them, like this isn't
Yep.
gonna happen. And yeah, and he's basically going to ascend her in theory, is what we're
Yeah.
thinking, right?
Yeah.
And then she dies, as far
Yes.
as we
Question
think.
mark. Dot dot dot
Question
dot.
mark, but obviously not, because she's the main
Obviously
character
not.
and
She's
we know how
yeah.
many books there are, so
Exactly.
obviously not. Um, so chapter 8, she's going in and out of it right now, right? And she's
Mhm.
having like these dream memories of the night that her parents were killed again, and then obviously in and out of Kieran and Castile talking. Um, and at some point she overhears that like he needs to feed, and then so they agree that
Right.
Nail's gonna service him, which the way they kept saying that,
I know. I'm sorry. Me too.
so inappropriate, and it just made me giggle.
Service him.
And she's
Okay.
gonna service him, okay. And then she also has like, which this is driving me nuts, right? So she has this vision of this goddess that looks
Uh-huh.
like her. She sheds like a blood tear or two and is apparently saying something to her that shocks her, but we don't get to know what that is. And then like later down the
Yes.
road, she's like remembering this part, but like she doesn't remember what she says. No shit.
She's like, it's right there, but I
It's
can't
right
remember it.
there at the
But
very
it's the
edge of my
key to everything,
memory, but it's
whatever it
got to be the
is.
key to everything.
This part
And
reminded
then,
me a little bit of our last series where it was like, just give us the information already.
right, right. And then, obviously she wakes up and has no idea who the hell these people are. And it's just her and we know Kieran, but she doesn't know who this
Right.
person is. And
Right. She's having some major memory blocks here.
yeah, and it's just like bloodlust, like crazy bloodlust, right? And so she goes and tries to attack him and stuff like
She
that.
tries to eat him.
She tries to eat him.
I
Yes,
love
she
how they
tries to
keep
eat him.
saying that. I tried to eat Kieran.
But don't worry, Castillo comes in just in the nick of time, and
Yeah.
then there is the most awkward bang bang train of the world. Only it's not a train; it's just two and a audience. And then all of a sudden she remembers everything, and Kieran has left. All right, so chapter 9 is basically just post coitus I love yous and emotional conversation.
Mhm.
But I did have this quote and it made me laugh so hard. So Poppy says, I tried to eat Kieran. Castile says, he won't hold it against you. She says, I tried to eat Kieran while I was naked. And he says that's probably why he won't hold it against you. And I died laughing.
I love that part. I didn't write it down because I just knew you were going to.
Oh yes.
So
Everything, just like her so bashful about everybody being naked this entire series. It
and the
just
fact that Kieran is so and like
and
big deal.
makes me laugh.
Okay. I know. It's so awesome. Okay.
But
Great.
basically they come to the conclusion that she didn't ascend, or at least not in the way that
Not in
they
the traditional sense, at
yeah.
least. Yeah.
And I just wanted to put like this happened in the hunting cabin, and you always say about how it always happens in the hunting cabin, and so it just made
The
me laugh.
family cabin in the woods is the place to do
The family hunting cabin. Um, but I guess like some storm came in and like messed up all the trees and stuff around. We don't get much information other than that, but
Yeah, they're like all like bending, like all the way down to the ground, basically.
and I
Mhm.
know we see more of it later, but and then that's all
And
I had. What did you have?
yeah, the only note I have on here is that apparently Atlanteans can read each other's memories like as they're feeding, if they feed for long enough.
Yep.
She says something about how she recognizes something from Castile's mind, possibly.
Uh,
I don't remember the details exactly, but yeah, that's what
I
she
don't either.
like,
Yeah.
see memories, and he's like, yeah, if you feed long enough.
Yeah. Um, chapter 10. So this is Castile, Kieran, and Poppy are basically just talking out the deeds of everything that happened, right?
Hmm.
Um, and then so this is kind of interesting. So I put, well, this is like her thinking about all of this, right? And well, killing people by turning their emotions back on them would probably count as an amazing ability, a scary one. But why couldn't I morph into something like a dragon? That would be incredible. And yes, ma'am, I agree.
Do
But
you think she's
also,
going to at some point?
what?
Do you think that she's going to like morph into having those abilities at some point?
I
Like,
don't know, but we better see fucking dragons. Like I need
yeah,
to see a damn dragon.
they've made somewhat of a big deal. Not a big deal, but they
Not
put
a
a
bit
little bit of a
deal.
spotlight on that here and there. I kind
Yeah.
of feel like we are gonna see it later.
Yeah. I think at some point. Hopefully. I just don't know if it'll be her or it'll be somebody else, something
Yeah,
else, that
true.
kind of thing. Yeah. But yes, we've confirmed that all the woven bonds are broken.
Mhm.
And then basically her emotions are what is the call to help basically for the woven.
Which is the
Um,
primal notum, is what
yeah,
it's. Mhm.
yeah. And the she thinks that Niktos was the father of all the gods, but they say that he is just the king of the gods.
He specifically corrects her on that. He's
Yep.
not the father, he's just the king of them.
Yeah. Um Also for chapter 10. So this is like I think very kind of the end of the chapter, and I know you have a couple other things, but um
Okay, we'll circle back to mine.
yeah, so she says, "What do you mean?" And then Castiel says, "You think an Atlantean's lifespan is unthinkable, but a deity is like a god. They are immortal. Instead of living 2 or 3 thousand years, they lived double and triple that." He said, and my heart stuttered. Living that long would make anyone apathetic or bored, impatient or intolerant. They simply grew too old and became cold. Cold, like the ascended? In a way, yes. It's like the gods went, it's why the gods went to sleep. It was the only way they could keep some sense of empathy and compassion. The deities never chose to do that. And then Kieran says, so even if that were to happen to you, you would have thousands of years before it came time to take a very nice long nap. And so she's thinking about all this, and then she's like, am I immortal now?
Yes. Which
Which
can I
is,
just say that if like when I'm having like losing it on my kids, wouldn't it be nice if someone was like, "Yeah, you're getting cold, you're losing empathy, you need to go take a nap."
you need to take a nap. But like that's the version of like a toddler tantrum.
Basically, yeah.
Like I'm tired of this BS. It's time for me to take a nap.
Because right before that, that's when she's like, he mentions like, "Well, you said something about you didn't want to become a monster." Because she
Yeah.
says, "I don't know if I can use the abilities anymore." And Karen's like, "Yeah, you can. I saw you almost do it, and then you stopped." And that's when Karen's like, or Cass is like, "What do you mean you stopped?" Yeah.
Yep. Yeah.
Um, well then, because yeah, because so on that thought train, so she's like, Alistair told me all these things. He said I'm gonna basically become a monster. I have no control over what I do.
Mhm.
And then she tells him about the prophecy that Alistair had told her that I spoke about in I think that was chapter 2 or something, or chapter
Yeah.
4. Um, and then Cass tells her that it seems too far-fetched and specific to be true. Like it seems like it was just like hand-picked the wording to
Yeah. And
specifically.
that they basically don't believe in it either.
Yeah, that he's like Atlanteans don't have prophecies. That
Right.
is not like a thing that we have. So I don't know where that's coming from. He says it sounds like more like a mortal thing.
Yeah.
Um, in yeah, that's why she tells him that she's like afraid to use the ether and all the stuff because she doesn't want to be a monster.
Yeah.
And he says what you just quoted, that like their attitudes have nothing to do with the ether, but rather the fact that they were basically bored and cold and tired and needed to take a nap.
They're like, there's nothing better to do. Let's just fuck some shit up.
Yeah.
I feel that.
Yeah. Oh, totally.
Chapter 11. So now she supposedly not only feels like power to Castile, but smells like power. And she's one thing for certain, no longer mortal.
Yep.
Yep. And then so this Elaine Denier was
Healing. Healing.
some,
Yeah.
yeah, some deity um that summoned the gods Nikos, Theon, and Lila, and to have this meeting with the Wolven, and that was basically how the first bonding happened, and it was Castile's ancestor of some sort, was this
Mhm.
Elin or whatever
Healing.
it was. Yeah.
Mhm. And then she also kind of in this chapter is thinking Like, she realizes that if she didn't actually ascend, even though they went through all the steps basically for her to ascend, she didn't actually, in the normal sense, ascend. That maybe if Ian actually is her full brother, maybe he didn't either.
Yeah.
And Cass tells her that it's possible, but it's also possible that they don't share the same ether wielding parent. And because he has only been seen at night and he is married to an ascended.
Yeah. I don't know. I still kind of wonder if she's a stolen baby.
Yeah. Or
I
like
still just
picked up on the side of the road. Maybe not stolen. I don't know. I don't know. I
there's
think
no way she was found.
you don't think so.
No. But something, okay. So something makes me wonder in a weird fucking way. Like, what if Malik is her dad
Mm.
or grandfather or something? And that is how, so her mom's there. That's how she didn't get ascended. Maybe her mom is her mom, but I don't know. Like, I feel like she is related to the queen, the blood queen, and Malik. I
Okay.
just don't know where Malik comes in. If he's still Halara or
Right.
Jalara
Right.
or or somebody else pretending to be, you know what I mean?
Or did he? Okay, so for argument's sake, what if Isbeth is actually the Blood Queen?
I thought Isbeth was the Blade Queen. Oh, yeah,
Oh. It's
yeah, yeah.
the very first vampire that Malik
Right. See,
his
that's what I was thinking. That's what I thought all along. Was she was the
okay.
first? Yeah. So I thought Isbeth was has always been the queen. I thought it's Halara and Isbeth.
No, it's not Isbeth, it's Ileana or something like
Oh, yeah. I think you're right.
similar. The name is similar, but it's different. So I wonder if
So what if Ileana's her mom?
and what if he okay, for in crude terms, knocked her up before she became vampire. Then he turns her vampire. Maybe she's still able to have the child. Maybe that child is her mom. And she is from Malik and the Blood Queen. Maybe the Blood Queen
Yeah.
is the grandmother. I
Yeah.
can't wait till we get further into the series because I
I
know we're
know.
gonna find out about Ian. We're gonna find out more about the Blood Queen and King and all that stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. So
And
they
she,
leave. They
yeah.
leave. They're heading back to Atlantia because they're in the hunting cabin. So they're heading back now, back through the Scotias Mountains. They have to go back to the mist and all this stuff. But she notices this time, they notice that the mist like opens a path in front of them, in front
Around her.
around
Yeah.
her. It like swirls and opens instead of just like surrounding them like before.
And then when they get to the other side, the golden trees are no longer golden. They've become blood trees.
Right. Yes, when they get to Eos. Mm-hmm.
Yep. They're the Aos trees.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. Chapter 12.
Mhm.
Um, so yeah, they're going through the mountains and she's drifting in and out of sleep. Or well, no, she just drifts to sleep this time. And she's having nightmares again, right? And she's fairly positive she hears Delano's voice. And it says, "You are Maya Lisa," is what I'm gonna say it is, okay?
Leo
And he's
something.
yeah, so he says, "You are Maya Lisa, whatever, wake up." And then she's like, what is going on? And there's like howling. And then she's like, I could have swore I heard howling and stuff like that. So I guess Castile tells her that Kieran and Delano, like who are running in front of them in their woven form, because they're trying to like make this a mad dash, right?
Yeah,
Because they
they're
want
doing
to get to the other side before sundown.
spend the night in the mountains again.
Yeah. And Delano had howled, and that was what woke her up. And but yeah, they're going to the cliffs of Ione, which is where Alistair is being kept, right?
Yep.
And they get there to this temple, and King Valan is waiting for them.
Yep.
Um,
Yep.
and then so she sees Quentin again, and this poor boy is trying to hold it together when he finds out that Beckett's dead, but that Beckett wasn't part of it, right? But he is dead. And so she like does her good feelings thing, right? And then he says something about your eyes are really pretty, different but pretty or something.
Mm-hmm.
And then she kind of like looks at Castile and he says about how her eyes are streaked with the silvery light, as well as Kieran and Delano's that are there too.
And and her eyes are also, they say that her eyes, and I reread this like 3 times because her eyes are supposed to be green, but in
Mm-hmm.
this part, directly from the book, I read it 3 times. It says that they're a pale blue with streaks of silvery light, which later they
See,
go
I
back
thought
to green.
that's what they were talking about with Kieran and Delano's eyes.
No, that hers too match theirs in this
Interesting.
moment, but then they're back to green
Oh,
later. But in this,
right.
they're this
But see,
pale blue.
I wonder if her dad is her dad because the memory she has of her dad, he has red hair and green eyes, pine
Yes,
green eyes.
yes, yes, and her, yeah, yep. But
Yeah.
okay, so back to the dream for just a
Yeah.
quick second before we finish this chapter out.
Yeah. Yeah.
Um, she remembers how her mom, in that moment in the dream, like pulls something long and slender and black out of her boot. Um, when she's talking to not the voice that
Oh, yeah, yeah, yeah.
not Alistair, because her dad was talking to Alistair, we know now. But her
Hmm.
mom's talking to someone else, the dark one. Is what we are
Yes.
assuming because that's what she says she noticed. She remembers this dark figure coming in, talking to her mom, and then her mom pulls out this dark, black, slender item out of her boot.
So, do you think her mom's bad too and her mom killed her dad?
Ooh, I hadn't thought that.
That
But
was almost my
maybe,
thought.
maybe,
That was my thought.
because
Because she's
her
like
mom
the
is,
queen's handmaiden or whatever.
and supposedly the queen's daughter.
Hmm. That was my thought.
Hmm.
Like, what if she's not actually the mom? I don't know. I'm suspicious of mom and I'm suspicious of Castile's mom.
And I'm suspicious of mom too because mom is the only one in history so far that the Blood Queen allowed not to ascend.
Not to ascend.
So she
Yeah.
could marry, so she could be with this man, which is Poppy's father, supposedly.
Uh-huh.
So why? And
Uh-huh.
when Duchess Tierman is telling her in the last book, like, oh, you've done what the queen wasn't ever able to. You've
Mm-hmm.
gotten an Atlantean. You've married an Atlantean.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, there's something there. I can't
Something going on.
wait. And then
But
this chapter closes out with her. This is where she says that whatever it is that the woman, the goddess, whatever it is, said to her in this dream, the thing that she can't quite remember, this is the answer to everything. She can't remember what it is, but whatever it is the answer to everything.
yep. And I put an eye roll.
Yep.
I'm like, of course you can't remember, and you won't remember until the last freaking minute,
Hmm.
last second. But okay, so chapter 13. So King Valen is in the temple. And then so like at the end, right? Well, this isn't the end, but it's the end of this like little section inside of it. And she says, so like King Valen's like leaving. He's like, Alistair better be, and the rest of them better be dead in the morning, or I'm going to take matters into my own hands. And so he's
Right.
ready to leave or whatever. And then she says, wait, please. Aware of Castile's stare, I turned to where his father stopped before the door. He looked back at me. You were at the ruins in the wastelands. Thank you for helping Castile, for helping me. I said, hoping I wasn't proven a fool later for thanking him. Thank you. King Valen's head tilted to the side. You don't have to thank me. You're family now. Of course, I would help you. So, my question for you is what about King Valen? Good or bad?
I don't know.
I
I don't
think,
know. I kind of feel like he's a maybe good in the in his heart, but also has ulterior motives because of Queen Alona, because I don't trust her.
okay. Well, there will be mind speak in this series, Jess, because
Yes.
she mind speaks with Kieran just ever so slightly.
Well, he speaks with her anyway.
Yeah, 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 yeah.
He doesn't
Yep.
specifically. Well, like she does. She says something. She says, I didn't write it down, but she says something, and then he
Did you just
responds.
talk to me or something?
Yeah,
Yeah.
he responds to her, and then she's like, "Hold on, did I say that out loud?
Yep.
Because I just heard your response directly to what I was thinking."
Into my mind.
And then she thinks back, like, "Wait, I heard Delano in my
Yep.
in the dream, but it was in a dream, so." But then I just think I just thought I heard Kieran directly. So
Yep.
there better be mind speak, damn it. I love that stuff. I don't
There
know.
obviously is. But anyway, so then they obviously take care of Alistair and they kill all the other traitors. And then Kieran calls all the wolves to dinner. All right. Chapter 14. So they are getting back to Scion's Cove later. And all the people are coming out as they're riding through town. And they're all just curious. Like she lets her emotions out and they're just more or less curious or whatever. And they're very excited that like Castile's back because they haven't seen him in a very long time, many, many years
She's
or
not
whatever.
feeling like the anger and fear that she was expecting to feel
Yeah,
from them.
yeah, yeah. And then she lifts her gaze up to this old lady or whatever, and she um kneels down on one knee or whatever, and then she's the one that says Maya Lisa or whatever.
Mhm.
And then they all start chanting it, and like some wolvens start chanting that too.
Yeah.
Um that's all I've seen. I don't know if I remember if it was any of the Atlanteans doing it, but
It
she
was the
asked.
older ones. It was just the older ones that's the thing that she knows.
The
And then
kids were saying it too.
youngers. Well, eventually the youngers come in, but the older ones started it. It's the older ones
Yeah,
who recognized it and started it.
yeah,
The younger ones come in.
yeah. And she asked Castile about it, and it's old Atlantean, and it's the language of the gods, and it means my queen.
Yep.
So then, chapter 15, we arrive at Jasper's home, and all of the woven kind of find places to, I don't know, stand guard something. And they're out all on the lawn, and then they all shift, and it's a whole lot of nakedness, and then they bow. um, and then so we find out like Castile not only has rooms here, but he has his rooms at the palace, but he doesn't stay there. Or at his parents' home, basically there, and he doesn't stay there because it's always just an empty home. They don't come to this place very often. And he would rather be around other people than in an empty house, basically. But he does also have his own townhome,
Yeah.
which I would love to see at some point.
Yeah, it reminds me of Akhtar.
Yep.
That little thing reminded me of that. Hmm.
I feel like that's gonna be, yeah, that's gonna be home.
Yes.
But that kind of made me wonder. I'm like, okay, so is Jasper's home and like this whole little town gonna get wiped out at some point too?
Hmm.
You know what I mean? And then you just have all the Wolven and the naked Wolven just like they hang out at this townhome.
Yeah.
Um, but yeah, so then we get into these gigantic rooms or whatever, and we have reached the land of showers
Words. Internal plumbing.
and internal plumbing. Yes. Chapter 16, our last chapter of the night.
Yep.
So he's like, you're not okay. Like he's been saying it the whole time. He's like, you're not okay. Like a lot has happened in a very short amount of time. Like, girl, you ain't good. She's like, I'm
Mhm.
fine. I'm fine. He's like, no, you ain't. And eventually she does crack and she just has an emotional meltdown on the floor with Castile. And he's just like, it's okay. It's okay. And he's all sweet and loving and everything
Yeah.
like that. And then she has possibly the greatest shower on earth for her first time. I mean, Castile makes sure those firsts are fantastic, I guess.
This is true. Very true.
He's making sure all the firsts are checked off the list.
Hmm.
But basically he's gonna go find her some food, and then she gets her dagger back because he took it away earlier at some point because he was afraid she was gonna hurt somebody, I think. Um, so he took it away, but now he gives it to her back, and she falls asleep with it in her hands while he goes to go get food of some sort.
I think this is the first time that we ended a chapter chunk that we didn't like, it wasn't like a major cliffhanger.
Yeah.
I mean, obviously, I know what's next. I'm going to read more later, probably, but
Yeah. But so yeah, that's it for tonight. But I mean, so what are your thoughts so far going into the rest of this book? It's like the other two-thirds of this book.
I mean, I basically have kind of already said so far. Obviously, I think in this chapter or in this book, we're going to find out like they're going to have the conversation with King Valen and Queen Alona. Um, about what she is and what's going on and stuff, and maybe we'll get a better feel for what Queen Alona is, what she's got going on.
Yeah.
But I'm with you. I don't trust her.
Yeah, I think she's bad news bears.
Also, the fact that one of the books coming up is the title is The War of Two Queens. I want to know
Oh
what two
yeah, that's right. The next book. Yeah.
are.
Yeah,
I'm
which two
that
queens?
it's Poppy and the Blood Queen, but Queen Alona's got to be in there at some point because you made the point in last book that like it seems like the queens are the ones that are kind of in power and the men are just kind of
Yeah.
there. So yeah, so we're gonna find out more about Queen Alona.
But
Um,
also like she's a queen too.
right, right, which is why I wonder if she's one of the two queens in the.
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. So, also, my only other thought here is what happened with Jansen because we did not ever get confirmation that he was killed because she started killing him, then she was shot. But no one ever says what happened to Jansen. So, is Jansen still out there? And is
I doubt it. You know that those woven made sure that motherfucker was dead. If
you're
that's the
probably right.
one she went to kill, you know they made sure.
You are probably right. But I don't know because she made such a big point of like, I promise I'm going to be the one that kills you. And then she started to, and he didn't die at her hand as far as we could see. I don't know. We didn't find out if he died or not, so I don't know. That'd probably be my only other true thought. And then of course there's the thoughts about like the Blood Queen, her mom,
Yeah, all that
you
mystery
know, all
and
of that, which we talked about a little bit already. So
Malik
oh my- yeah,
and the very uneventful so far Jalara, King Jalara.
right. King Jalara.
Halara makes sense, but I think we
It
need to
does.
call it Jalara.
I should ask my mom because she's audiobooking this how
Yeah.
all things are said. I haven't done that yet.
Be like, we want to know, but we're probably not going to use it if
Yeah, we're so far in at this point.
we're going to call it Jalara.
Sorry, guys.
Yes, but yeah, yeah, definitely the queens are in charge here.
Mhm.
Or at least they're running the show, even though the kings are wearing the pants kind of thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What do you have any other thoughts?
I don't know. Like I do think that Castiel's gonna take over the crown here in a minute.
Hmm.
I think Alona's gonna have a problem with it. I think that's gonna cause a scuffle. I'm still like, I know I said like last time that I think at some point like one of them is gonna get captured, but I thought it was gonna be by the Ascended. And so I was kind of like disappointed by this. I still think that like Poppy's gonna get no, I don't think it's gonna be Poppy. I think it's gonna be Castile is gonna get captured by the Ascended. And like he's gonna go in and try to like kill him or something. Like they have this plan.
Uh,
And I think he's gonna get captured. And then Poppy and Kieran are gonna have to go on this cute little adventure to go save him.
yeah, maybe.
Um, I hope that still happens, even though I think maybe we just seen the capturing part, but who knows?
Well, and I think too, I mean, we are eventually going to find out what happened to Malik. Is he alive? Is he not alive? Is he going to come back totally like a zombie, basically?
Yeah.
And then we're also going to find out about Ian. I believe eventually we're
I
going
kind of
to.
almost wonder if Ian's bad too. Why was he already with the queen? Why did he already go with a woman that smelled like vanilla and cinnamon? I can't remember, but
I
let's
forgot
just
about
pretend a cupcake. You know what I mean? That's why he wasn't there the night she died. So is it because he was old enough to not know that her mom killed her dad?
Mm.
You know what I mean? Or old enough to know that that happened, and so
But Ian was with her. Ian was with her for a while until he ascended. He was with her in wherever with the
yeah. But
dude.
I'm saying on the night it happened, he
Uh-huh.
wasn't there. He had already left,
True.
and it
True.
was something about we have to go find your brother or something like that.
Yeah.
Yeah, so he had already left with this one person, which we assume is the queen, because
Right.
that's where he is after the parents are supposedly dead.
Yep.
Supposedly, I don't almost wonder if her mom's not dead.
I know.
I think her mom's bad.
The good
I'm
news
not
is,
like sold on it, but
yeah, we have a lot of books, so I'm hoping. thinking we're going to find out a lot of answers.
Yeah.
And I'm trusting this author a little bit more as far as like giving out the whodunits a little bit more.
Yeah, and not just leaving us hanging.
Yeah.
Yeah, I agree. I do. Yeah, I've been just vibing and I'm loving it at this point.
Oh yeah, me too. Me too. I am
It's
loving this
good.
series so far. All right, so I think that about wraps it up for tonight's discussion. We hope you're all enjoying the series so far. We are first-time readers of the series, so we hope that you are following along with us. Or if you've already read the series, we hope that our discussions can be a refresher for you before book 6 comes out in September.
Yes. So make sure you join us on Facebook and Instagram for more fun and conversations, as well as our club on the Fable app, where you can discuss with us spoiler free chapter by chapter. Next episode, we will be discussing A Crown of Gilded Bones by Jennifer Armentrout, chapters 17 through 34.
Yep. And if you're enjoying reading along with us or just enjoying our conversations and theories, be sure to like this video and hit that subscribe button on your way out.
And buddy reading any book with book besties is so much fun.
So make sure to share our podcast with your book besties. And if you don't have any book besties,
Then consider yourself one of ours. And until next time, fill those drinks with ice.
and your books with spice. Bye.
Bye.